Did you know that Marvel put out a new show called Eyes of Wakanda? I didn't even know this was out. The only thing I see people talking about is Marvel Zombies, which I've watched half of Marvel Zombies. It's actually not a terrible show. Some things I like about it. I haven't finished it yet, though. I still have 2 more episodes left, so maybe it gets worse. I didn't think it was terrible. Not a fan of Miss Marvel, though, really, who is the main draw for that show, but whatever. Eyes of Wakanda, though, nobody's talking about this, and maybe that's for good reason. Because when you head over to Rotten Tomatoes, just to see, what people are saying about it, 52% audience score. That is low. And if you want to see something really funny, look at the critics. 92% for all critics. If you just go to top critics, the best of the best in Rotten Tomatoes minds, 100%. Right here, this is the metric right here. If the audience score is really bad, but the critic score is really high, that means the show is shit. I'm just going to take a wild guess here. Just a wild guess. But I'm going to say the show is probably praised because it's a Black Panther thing. It's all people of color, barely any white people in it, something like that. So, of course, it's revolutionary, one of the greatest things ever made. Got to get those stinky old white people out because, in mainstream media's mind, they should never have any form of show or movie or video game ever again. But, I haven't watched the show. I don't know if it's good or not. Not really jumping to watch it either. Here's the thing, though. I don't think anybody will be jumping to watch anything from the studio that made this because apparently they're shutting down due to lack of work and funding. That's interesting. I decided to take a look and see what this studio has made in the past. And here's one. Here's their LinkedIn. And this comes from the company themselves. Hello, we are the Axis Studios, a multi-award-winning animation and visual effects studio specializing in diversity. There it is, ladies and gentlemen. That is what they hanged their hat on, and now they're out of business. Maybe you should have just focused on specializing in good animation. I don't know. And to be fair, this animation isn't, I've seen far worse. I'm a little tired of the computer animated shit, though. Can you do a hand drawing style again? Can we get hand animation back? Oh, this guy here says it's the greatest thing ever. Oh, it just did the craziest MCU retcon, so now it's required show. Don't think you'll be seeing it in the season 2, though, as they're shutting down. Here are some things they've done. Eyes of Wakanda being the biggest thing. Scrooge, A Christmas Carol by Netflix. Love, Death, and Robots from Netflix. The Halo series from Microsoft. The Gears of War 5 and Outriders game trailers. Borderlands movie visual effects. Lost in Oz series, Amazon Prime. They came into existence back in 2000. And they're done. That's a wrap for Axis Studios. A report from Caroline Reed at Forbes reveals the reason for the shutdown was a combination of the shutdowns due to the fear of COVID-19, the multiple strikes in Hollywood, and soaring inflation. Okay, these are pretty reasonable explanations. Hollywood is just going down. So this is a newer studio, right? 2000 is when it came into existence. Compared to, it's not that old. Hollywood is shrinking. Hollywood has been shrinking for a couple of years now, and do we really need a studio that specializes in diversity? An internal document detailed the industry experienced a downturn in production commissions post-pandemic, particularly in the video game sector, which compromised the majority of the company's client base. The company was also impacted by the U.S. writer strike, which took place from May to September 2023, and the related actor strike, which ran until November 2023. These significantly pushed out production schedules. Allied to this, significant cost price inflation, particularly in respect of employee costs, further eroded margins and overall profitability. So this company started up in 2000, really tried to position themselves in a good place for the diversity boom of media, the fake boom. Everybody thought that was going to be where the big money was. And, of course, that dried up. So now companies like this that, in their words, specialize in diversity, they're finding a little bit of trouble now because nobody's really interested in hiring them for diversity vanity projects because nobody ever wanted diversity vanity projects. You're seeing it right now with Peacemaker Season 2, which is very much a James Gunn vanity project. A lot of the audience is just dipped out. And that's a whole different thing. He has no oversight, which is his biggest problem. He has no editors. Nobody's telling him, yeah, that idea, not very good. Maybe don't do that. He has nothing but yes man following him around. George Lucas, prequels, kind of the same thing. He didn't really have anybody telling him no. And I really do think a good editor is very vital to projects. Very, very vital. More so than I think people realize because they really help shift and shape things and get ideas in there. And anyway, watch my James Gunn Peacemaker video if you're interested in that. So here is basically why the company went out of business. The company's workflow was such that only a small number of projects were active at one time, and due to their relatively large individual size, this could produce cash flow pressures until large completion payments were received, or in the event significant gaps arose between commissions, the document added. Whilst the directors considered there to be a strong pipeline of work, with a significant project due to commence in early 2025, delays in the commencement of projects began to emerge. This resulted in the company experiencing cash flow difficulties as initial payments, which would normally be received from customers at the commencement of projects, were consequently deferred. As a result of these cash flow pressures, the company was unable to meet its payroll obligations in June 2024 and also had to defer payments to freelance contractors. So now the people aren't coming in. So they thought there's going to be a shitload of work. Everyone's going to want to jump and hire the company that makes animation that specializes in diversity. That didn't happen, and now the company's going out of business, despite getting a big project from Marvel. So this company's done. Nobody wants to work for them. They can't get freelance contractors because of funding. They can't pay people. They're done. It was announced to the 151 employees on July 15th, 2024, that the company would shutter. I'm surprised this isn't bigger news. So this was announced a while ago then. But they did put a project out recently, Eyes of Wakanda. Don't think there's going to be a season 2 now. I didn't even see this thing crack ratings. But, you know, if this had been a big hit, we would have heard about it. You know what we're hearing about right now, Marvel Zombies. Now, reports are saying that thing has exceeded expectations, and they're thinking about making more. Why is that? Because people are watching it. And other than choosing certain characters, like Ms. Marvel being at the forefront, even with that, I didn't think it was terrible. There were some things I liked about it. There's a couple things I didn't. But overall, it seems okay so far. But like I said, I haven't finished it. This show I haven't heard anything about. I haven't heard anybody praising the numbers. I haven't heard anybody excited about it. I haven't even heard anybody talk about it. I don't even know it's out yet. So looks like we could probably say that this 52% rotten, probably true. Probably true. But hey, the critics love it. They love it. They always are good at judging, aren't they? Anyway, that's pretty much it. Let me know what you guys think. Another one bites the dust. What are your thoughts? Also, if you would please like, subscribe, share the video, hit that notification bell. We'll see you on the next one. Peace.